Stay with me. Thank you so much for joining us. The news is coming to you live from our Platinum studio here in Accra. And it's also streaming live on Facebook at GHOne TV. This morning, we start off on a rather sad note because death toll in the Bermso Bridge accident on the Accra-Kumasi Highway has risen to 3 following the death of a 10-year-old boy at the hospital. Well, police say the father of the 10-year-old boy has also been referred to the Eastern Regional Hospital for specialist and emergency care. Meanwhile, the Accra-Kumasi Highway has been reopened to traffic following successful clearing of debris and package at the accident scene. The collision, which occurred on Monday, 3rd August 2026, triggered severe traffic congestion, forcing the police to divert vehicles in both directions.
Vehicle collision and fire on the N6 Accra-Kumasi Highway at the Brim River has left 2 people dead and 6 others injured. The Ghana National Fire Service says the crash involved a full tanker, an STC bus, a Mitsubishi pickup, and a Kia Sorento. 2 male occupants of the full tanker were bent beyond recognition and have been handed over to the police. 6 other casualties, comprising 4 males and 2 females, have been taken to the Hawa Memorial Hospital for treatment. The full tanker, STC bus, and Mitsubishi pickup were completely burnt, while the Kia Sorento was extensively damaged. The cause of the collision and fire remains under investigation. The Eastern South Regional MTTD team from Kibi was deployed to manage traffic and coordinate the clearance of the highway. Accra-bound traffic is being diverted through Kibi via Insutam, while Kumasi-bound traffic is being diverted through Apedwa. Firefighters have extinguished the blaze and are clearing debris from the road. Motorists have been urged to follow police directions, use the designated diversion routes, and exercise caution until normal traffic flow is restored.
Those were excerpts of a fire accident or road crash that happened yesterday. But this morning, a commercial fire destroyed a takeaway facility and a rubber warehouse and factory in the Tema industrial area in the early hours of Tuesday, leaving 1 firefighter injured during effort to contain the blaze. The fire, according to the Ghana National Fire Service, broke out around 12:40 a.m. on Tuesday, prompting a rapid response from the fire service. 4 fire attendants from the Tema Industrial, Def Traco Motorway and Free Zones fire stations were dispatched to the scene to battle the flames and prevent the fire from spreading to adjoining businesses. However, several firefighters sustained injuries during the firefighting operation. 1 firefighter was injured after a section of a wall collapsed while they were working to bring the blaze under control. The injured officer was rushed to the Tema General Hospital where he's currently receiving treatment. Personnel successfully extinguished the fire after hours of intensive firefighting. The extent of the damage is yet to be determined, while the cause of the fire remains under investigations. Let's have a conversation on this. Member of the Ghana National Fire Service Public Relations Department, Alex King-Nati, joins me on phone for updates. Alex, we are going to have a conversation on both the accident that happened yesterday and then this morning. But let's narrow the conversation to the fire this morning. How is the firefighter doing?
So thank you very much. The firefighter initially, after he sustained the injury to the head, was immediately taken to the Tema Polyclinic. But due to the condition had to be referred to the Tema General Hospital, where he currently is receiving treatment. He went unconscious at that moment, but he has been resuscitated and being monitored closely while recovery process is underway for him.
So just for clarity, this said wall fell on him. Is that what happened? Hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you earlier.
Yeah, I was asking for specifics. The said wall fell on this firefighter.
Exactly. Portions of some of the blocks of this wall fell from the height. Mind you, this is a factory in a warehouse, and so it has a very high ceiling, and so fall from the wall, even with the helmet on, foot not being off, and so you can imagine that. But for the helmet that he had on, we might be having a different conversation now.
Tell us about the latest on the fire. What's the extent of the damage so far?
Well, so as at 6 a.m., we had successfully extinguished the fire. The extent of damage was a bit extensive. And then I would say that the extent of salvage was much more extensive. Some of the machines that were used in the factory were damaged as a result of the fire. Some of the finished product was also damaged as a result of the fire. This is a factory and warehouse that deals in takeaway and then some plastic products. And to some of their finished products, a lot of it actually was damaged. We were able to salvage some of their other raw materials there. There were other 7-unit apartments within the same compound. We were able to salvage it. Their administrative block was also salvaged. And there were adjoining warehouses belonging to Indomie and other companies that were very, very close by that we had to do to salvage it. So all those other structures, fortunately, were salvaged from the fire.
Will it be premature to ask what caused the fire, or still investigations are going?
Exactly, investigations are ongoing. With fires like this, investigations are not a day or two. It can even take up. And looking at how big the place is, it's about being able to identify the origin of fire, if there were some accelerant, or if at that time there were anything that was not in place that could have probably started the fire. I also want to jump the gun by concluding on what might have caused the fire.
Okay, Alex, let's talk about the accident yesterday. We know that a 10-year-old is dead. He died this morning. What more do we know on that?
So that's an information that I can't personally verify for now.
Okay.
So it's not something that I can compare as at this point. I'm hoping that before the end of the day, I should be able to get the confirmation, because obviously death is not something that you can just predict or wish on anyone. And so I wouldn't want to rush into confirming. All I can say, our record, the death toll still stands at 2, which is the two occupants of the fuel tanker who unfortunately got burned beyond recognition.
Okay, you can't confirm the death toll getting to 3, but what do you have? We want specifics. How many people were on board? Do you have a record of the number of people on board and the people admitted? And I'm sure there are some that are still recovering.
Yes, so obviously, so we have put out injury of about 6, but that's officially. These are 6 were those who were in a very worrying condition. And so, but then the number of casualties is much more than that, because the STC has had its own occupants, the Toronto had its occupants, the same with Mitsubishi pickup. And so the casualty will be a lot, and they all sustain different degrees of injuries. And then our concentration was on those all at the hospital. As we are also hearing of the death, but then again, we want to confirm and at least be able to make sure that whatever we are putting out there is verified. And so for now, I can't confirm the death of the 10-year-old boy.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us. That was the PRO for the Ghana National Fire Service, Alex King Nate. But the Chief Superintendent, Alexander Kwekuobeng, the Director for Education, Research and Training at the MTTD, spoke to the news team, updating the team on the increased death toll.
Following the unfortunate preventable crash that occurred on the N6, so far we lost 3 of our compatriots. We had about 30 passengers that were on board the STC bus, and they were all conveyed to Kibi Government Hospital. The driver of the Sorrento vehicle have also been referred from Osiam Howard Memorial Hospital to Kofodia Regional Hospital for further treatment. We are also aware that driver of another fuel tanker who also sustained injuries also has been treated and discharged at Kibi Government Hospital. So generally, that is how far the law enforcement teams that proceeded to the accident scene yesterday about 11.
Let's engage the Eastern Regional Coordinator, Director for the National Road Safety Authority, Nana Ekuya Ansa, to have a conversation on this. Good morning, Madam. I hope you're well.
I'm fine, I agree. Hope you are doing the same.
I'm fine. The fire service have their report. MTTD also have their reports. I want to find out if the National Road Safety Authority visited the scene and also has their report.
Okay, ours is similar with the Ghana Police Service, the MTTD, because we were also there with them.
Okay. That particular stretch, the Accra-Kumasi Highway, has recorded serious crashes over the years. What is driving the recurring accident at that particular area?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'll first and foremost attribute all these crashes to, first and foremost, human error. Most of it are human error. Looking at yesterday's scenario, he wanted the Burkina driver, fuel tanker wanted to do overtaking. And upon, you could see from the crashes that he didn't observe the road very well before undertaking the overtaking. So that resulted in the whole scenario. If he had been extra cautious of how the overtaking should have been, considering all the safety aspects, the maneuvering, the mirroring, and all other procedures that he should have followed, we believe that what we saw yesterday wouldn't have happened.
And that is the STC driver or the tanker driver, you say?
The tanker driver.
Okay.
The tanker driver.
I want to know, are commercial drivers, in your opinion, do you think commercial drivers are receiving the necessary education to prevent, road crashes and safe driving practices? Do you think you're doing enough to educate, particularly commercial drivers, on this?
From my region, I think we are trying our best to give them the best of all the education that we can. But it's upon them to either accept it, receive it, and act upon it. Sometimes we try our best to educate them, to train them, but as to if they are holding on to the teachings that we are giving them, if they are holding on to the airline, they are reading the airline to follow the instructions in the airline too is another aspect. But from where I am certain, we are trying our best with our education.
You are the Eastern Regional Director, on top of your head, can you single out a single most important intervention that you think can be put in place to save lives on that particular stretch immediately? Because, I mean, we've heard stories about accidents on that particular stretch over some time now.
The immediate measure that I would like it to be put in place is first and foremost, we the human beings, we have to change our mind. We have to learn the defensive driving training. We have to change the way we think, the way we do things. Because most of the crashes that we attend to, if it is not wrongful overtaking, it is excessive speeding or static driving, wrongful parking, then cars will run into it. So the human being has to change our mind. We have to change our mind. Secondly, we have to, get some cameras on the road to monitor drivers, the way they drive, so that soon as you misbehave, you'll be caught ahead of you and be arrested. So I think, first and foremost, we have to change our mindset. Secondly, we have to insert some cameras on that stretch. And thirdly, as they are constructing the express road, we believe that safety measures will be put on that stretch so that at the end of the day, when we use those express routes, we wouldn't record road crashes as we are recording on this N6 road.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Nana Ikuya Ansah. She is the Eastern Regional Director for the National Road Safety Authority. Away from that, an Accra High Court has confirmed a freezing order on properties and bank accounts belonging to former IMCC Executive Secretary Dennis Edward Abuaje, popularly known as Dennis Miracles. The order granted on July 27, 2026, Justice Charity Akosua-Asem, a justice of the Court of Appeal sitting as an additional High Court judge, affect 5 bank accounts and 4 landed properties, including a 7-bedroom house at Latte, a 2-bedroom house at Spinter's apartment at Adringano, and 15 acres of land at Latte. The order also covers assets linked to former IMCC accountant Gerald Appiah and Hillside Piggery and Meat Processing Limited. Iyoko secured the order as part of investigations into alleged financial and procurement irregularities involving about 55 million cedis. Mr. Abuaje, who was arrested at Kotoka International Airport, has denied wrongdoing and described the allegations as a false narrative. Well, member of the NPP legal team, Bernard Kwame Oredu, said the Accra High Court order on freezing of Dennis Abuaje's properties and bank accounts does not go to confirm he's guilty, adding that he can attest to his integrity. Speaking on GH today, Bernard explained the court order is only procedural and in due course he will be vindicated.
Say to our supporters and people who sympathize with Miracle is that these things are procedural. It does not go to confirm or prove the guilt of Miracles. You know, when investigations are ongoing, it is procedural. It is sometimes expected as part of the ongoing investigations, certain actions are done, and it includes the freezing. You can actually even go to court and have the order reversed. So it does not speak to the guilt of Miracles, Abuaje. So let it not be said, or let that painting let it not be painted as if because his assets, bank accounts have been frozen, then he's guilty of the offense. I have known Miracle for a very long time. I would vouch for his integrity any day.
Meanwhile, leading member of the CPP, Kwame Jantwa, said Miracles Abuaje is innocent until proven guilty by the court. He further advised Miracles to keep silence on social media and allow his lawyers to handle the situation.
The man is innocent until proven guilty, irrespective of whatever procedures are there. And so far as I'm concerned, at this material point, he is innocent. And for the court to freeze, and I'm not sure whether it was recommended by Iyoko to the court.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so if the court to freeze, then that means they are doing what? They are gathering their evidence. It's procedural. So let's see how it goes. But Miracles is my friend. And the only thing I'll say to him is that he should zip up. He should zip up. Because if he doesn't zip up, he's just going to what? Contradict himself.
Right.
Leave it for his lawyers to handle.
Okay.
He goes to court and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Well, this conversation has sparked a lot of comments on social media, and Nanama is in the studio with what you've been saying.
Thank you very much, Awisi Dede. Yes, it has indeed. We're going to stick with X today. Mr. Shunem says, same old tactics. What happened to Edu Boahene after freezing his accounts? These tactics are archaic. We also have Wisdom. Oh, let's not rush with it. He may have gotten those properties before he started politics, or those properties were legally acquired. We also have Moonwalker. He should explain the sources of wealth. Same as Fonapo, who built a palace in Ebri and used Otumfo to beg JDM not to prosecute him. Our society is rotten. Eric Simpson, please, do they list all the 5 banks and houses and their location? Why, are you going to do a visitation or something? We also have Anthony Owusu. 4 houses as a comms person from a political party. He's asking, imagine him being close to governance and leadership when his party wins political power. Democracy in Africa, he says, is a crime scene. We also have Eddie. After all this case, he's having the audacity to criticize the government politicians let me take that again. After all this case, he is having the audacity to criticize the government politicians have no integrity. Then we also have Zizi. Miracles has 4 houses, 5 bank accounts, and that's just one person. If you do MPs, foot soldiers, ministers, do the math. All I can say is Ghana has money. We could be getting some coins in our Momo every week just for being Ghanaians. But here we are, ruled by unpatriotic Ghanaians. That's interesting. Kwame says exactly the reason why every politician has no regard for pure hard work. How did he acquire 4 houses? Our next comment, it must reach all politicians who have meddled in the national coffers. If someone has stolen the country's money, seize and sell their assets acquired during their loot period to recover those monies. Don't just take them to court. Well, there's a mixed bag here, but he must be proven guilty. So let's see what happens moving forward. My name is Nanama Akwa. Awisi Dede, back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nanama, for bringing us comments on social media on that particular story. Let's do education, because the Ghana National Council of Private Schools is demanding an immediate probe into WAEC and a review of the results from the just-ended BECE. The demand follows an accusation by the body alleging a deliberate undermarking of their candidates, which resulted in widespread failure in over 14,000 private schools. Speaking to now Dede Tete on Morning Star, Executive Director for the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, Obenfu Nanakwesi, insisted that an independent committee be put together to address the issue.
Because this is not like an allegation. We are talking about empirical evidence. And fortunately enough, we've been able to put together data to support the assertion that we are making. And so at this point, I think that will be the first time in our history to have a committee to review the work of WAEC. It happened in Nigeria, and a lot of revelation came out. And I think it is happening in Ghana this year, because we are not going to relent. We are going to push to a point that WAEC will be brought to a certain table to answer certain specific questions. Because when you have the details, come out and tell us what we are saying or disprove what we are saying. These are the evidences that we have. We are saying that we've been our learners for a number of years. We know their assessment performance and we know how they are. Why is it that suddenly it has changed? We have data to prove that those students merit whatever they are supposed to have. And now it is in a different direction. As you say, horrible, grace.
Let's have a conversation. Daniel Fenyi is the head of public relations at the Ghana Education Service, and he joins me on phone. Good to have you on the program, sir. I'm sure you just heard the SOT we just played.
Yes, I heard snippet of it. Yes.
Has that accusation or that allegation come to your notice prior to today?
Let me mention that with regards to the BEC and the Awisi and the external examinations, they go directly to WAEC. So GES, what we do, Ghana Education Service, what we do is to present to the students and sometimes present teachers to support with invigilation and supervision. These allegations are quite wild. So here I'm talking for a sister organization, that's WAEC. And so, yes, and these allegations are quite wild. I believe that there are some germane concerns that if you have suspicions, if you have some double thoughts about the marks you have gotten in the BEC or the WASI, there should be an independent organization that you can report to, which can conduct an independent review of it. It gets difficult if all these concerns are to go to IEC itself, the same body that organized the examination, having to receive concerns and even act on those concerns. You may want to see some conflict of interest issues there. And so the concern about having to get an independent body that looks into or receives these concerns and then work on these concerns, I believe is quite germane. But the seeming conclusive statements that scores from private schools have been manipulated or the result of private school students have been intentionally marked down. I think these are very unfortunate comments and very wild comments. How do you determine when you don't have access at the moment to maybe the script or the vetting processes, the examination, the marking processes? How do you now conclude that students from private schools have been marked down? There are several students from private schools who have done extremely well. There are students from private schools who couldn't do well. There are students from public schools who did extremely well. There are students from the same public schools who didn't really do well. And so if you want to, quote unquote, rubbish the entire work of WAEC because you are coming from the private school perspective, then it is not the best way to go. If you have these concerns, you can put them across, even push that an independent body go into these issues and even address these issues. But it seems you have already concluded what you believe should be the case. And when that happens, this prejudice that you have does not even allow for a merit process to be undertaken. And so I think that formally they may want to, as they have already mentioned, they may want to formally draw the minister's attention by, let's say, sending a petition to the minister and other stakeholders, relevant stakeholders in the space, and maybe minimize the prejudicial comments they are making and minimize the quote-unquote the bastardization of WAEC just because you want to make a point. Because if the investigations unfold and doesn't turn out to be the allegations you are putting across, then what becomes of you and this affairs? And so, yes, an independent body look into it. I believe that's the main concern. But saying private schools have been intentionally marked down, it's a very unfortunate comment to make.
Okay, that's fair. Let's talk about the BEC results. What's your general impression about this year's result?
Fairly, we should say that as Ghana Education Service, we observed fairly minimal malpractices. I mean, by the time this new managers of the sector came in, the issue of malpractice was a big deal. In fact, the almost normalization of examination malpractice was a serious issue. Parents will talk about it, teachers were talking about it, the students themselves, even the media, you were raising concerns about the examination malpractices. If you look at the figures WIEC gave out in terms of the number of papers cancelled, the number of papers withheld, I think withheld, we had just about 49 withheld results. And even that one, once it is withheld, it is pending investigations, and just about 300 cancelled scripts and all that. And vis-a-vis the total number of school Saturday examinations, we're looking at more than 500,000 number, so about 600,000 plus. And you are looking at these numbers being the cancelled papers. I think everyone looking at examination objectively would admit that more practices were quite minimal in this year. And we even want to reach the zero mark where we would have examination conducted and there will be zero record of more practices. But until we get there, it's a step at a time. We also believe that, of course, the result the students have seen or have gotten will now become, this new policy about students seeing their results before they even select their schools. We believe that the results are a data for the students. So now they are able to see the grade that they got, the aggregate they got, their strengths, their weaknesses, their interest areas based on the results. And that might inform the schools they are going to select, the program they are going to select, the residential statuses and all that, day or boarding statuses and all that. So we believe that the results that students have gotten will now guide the selection of the schools, which is currently ongoing. So the selection of the schools is ongoing this week. And we believe these results, having been released in time, guide in their selection, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Daniel Fenyi is the head of public relations at GES, bringing us up to speed on the BEC results. Please help me. I don't want to die here. Those are the desperate words of a young Ghanaian woman trapped in what anti-trafficking campaigners describe as modern-day slavery in the Gulf region. Lured abroad with promises of decent work, many Ghanaian women say they instead found themselves abused, beaten, and stripped of their freedom. Now they are making an emotional plea for the Ghanaian government to bring them home. Here is another revelation in Peter Kwao Adato's Human Trafficking series.
Good morning. Maybe I miss you.
Every day, Lady Akasi, not her real name, waits for one thing: a phone call telling her she is finally going home. Instead, she says every new day brings fresh abuse. Through tearful voice messages sent from the Gulf, Lydia describes a life she says has become unbearable.
They won't see me at Asa. They won't see me. So I'm saying, sorry for you.
Lydia says she traveled believing she had secured a better future. She claims she became trapped in a cycle of violence, intimidation, and fear. When she complained about the abuse, she says the punishment only became worse. According to her, seeking medical treatment is not even an option. She fears she could be harmed further.
Was me quite injection no money by me minimum drug. There's somebody me quite who me pay me to one me when they treat me.
Lydia is not alone. The Nima Jamururi Foundation says it has identified dozens of Ghanaian women facing similar situations across parts of the Gulf region. Many, the organization says, traveled after responding to attractive job offers advertised online.
He doesn't have any license or any office to operate as a travel agency or any recruitment agency. And therefore, the victim has also been there, and then the assaults, the trauma, harassment keep on going.
One suspected trafficker identified by the foundation as Aisha, a Ghanaian reportedly based in Kurdistan, is alleged to have recruited victims mainly through TikTok. Preliminary investigations revealed that Aisha promises the would-be victims legitimate jobs but allegedly robbed them of their belongings, leaving them being trapped, abused, and unable to leave. Some who resisted, the foundation says, ended up in detention facilities after demanding their rights.
We have about 120 victims that need to be rescued. Some of them, we need just a ticket for them to come back, but we don't have funds to do that.
Others reportedly suffered serious health complications after being subjected to unknown injections. Anti-trafficking advocates say the crisis is growing, and unless stronger action is taken, more young Ghanaians could fall into the same trap.
It's a very sad situation. It didn't start happening today. It's been quite a while. But the challenge we are having is that even with the level of investment that has gone into ensuring that this does not happen at all in our system, it is still going on. So we have to keep on asking ourselves, why? Where are the gaps? What are the shortfalls?
Campaigners are now urging the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to launch an urgent investigation into the trafficking networks sending young Ghanaians to the Gulf region and other destinations under false promises of employment. They also want stronger collaboration between Ghanaian diplomatic missions, law enforcement agencies, and destination countries to rescue victims and dismantle the criminal syndicates behind the trade.
Because if we are unable to put these mechanisms in place, it becomes a lot more difficult because the advocacy is going on, every other thing is going on, but there's a challenge. And maybe we have to start scrutinizing it at our border points.
For Lydia and many others still trapped far from home, every passing day is another fight for survival. Their hope now rests on one plea, that someone hears their cries before it is too late. Peter Kwao Adatos reports for GHOne News.
The Ghana Health Service has received neonatal stimulation equipment valued at $306,000 in a major boost to efforts to reduce newborn deaths in Ghana. The equipment, donated by the U.S. government and its partners, will be distributed to selected district, regional and sub-district health facilities, including facilities under the Christian Health Association of Ghana.
Simulation training mannequins, 100 dream warmers, and 3 portable ultrasound machines. The equipment is expected to strengthen maternal and newborn care, from early diagnosis during pregnancy to improving frontline clinical skills and ensuring safer referrals for newborns requiring specialized care.
Through the help and the support of the U.S. government, as well as our partners, today we are donating 531 simulators or mannequins to the Ghana Health Service and some CHAC facilities that are supported by the U.S. government-funded Integrated Health Partnership. We are also donating 100 dream warmers to the Ghana Health Service, as well as 3 point-of-care ultrasound machines to the Ghana Health Service. These are worth about $306,000, and we hope it will go a long way to reduce our maternal as well as our neonatal mortalities.
Receiving the equipment, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, said the items will be deployed to selected health facilities supported by the Integrated Health Partnership.
All these that we are bringing here are from the taxpayers' money. That is somebody else sacrificing a lot and giving $1, $2, somebody else sacrificing his salary for these to come to us, and we don't take that for granted. We will surely put them to use, and so that those people who sacrifice, they will be proud of what they've been able to achieve by these little sacrifices that they do. But far away, it will help save the child.
Now, to some news happening now, the maiden edition of the Omane lecture, memorial lecture, is currently underway at the Bema camp to honor the memory of the former defense minister and others who met their untimely death last year. Let's cross over to Bema camp for snippets of the lecture.
He was indeed one of those rare men, wise, brave, and strong, who adorned his generation with distinction, who stood for what was right, resisted what was wrong, and devoted his gifts and talents to the service of his people and country. His life remains an inspiration to all who believe that true greatness is measured not by personal gain, but by faithful service to others. The greatest tribute we can pay Dr. Edward Kofi Omane is not simply to remember him, but to imitate his values. Public service is a vocation. Leadership is characterized by humility, grounded in trust and lived in service. Leadership is about making an impact, drawing others into leadership, and love of country is expressed in sacrifice. The baton has now passed on to us. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. Let the perpetual light shine upon him. Amen. Thank you.
So you watched the maiden edition of the Omane Boama Memorial Lecture that is currently underway at Bema camp to honor his memory. Let's do more stories. The Greater Accra Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Dennis Nate, has urged residents of the Ayawaso North Municipality and Ghanaians at large to make it a priority to participate in a monthly cleanup exercise. He noted that the July 29 flood disaster should serve as a reference point for all to take sanitation seriously.
A total of 150 affected persons who lost their livelihoods to the June 29 flood disaster received assorted items, including bags of rice, mattresses, canned fish, toiletries, and other essential supplies. Addressing the media, the Greater Accra Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Dennis Nate Ajano, urged the public to prioritize sanitation to avert future disasters.
Our people will also pay heed to some of these sanitation protocols, i.e., do not dump refuse into drains, and then let's keep our surroundings clean. Also, we must make sure that we adhere to the monthly national sanitation activities that we are supposed to be engaging in. We don't have to wait for President to organize a sanitation day before we get involved. Every month, if we are able to clean our environment, I think it will go a long way to mitigate some of these effects in terms of flooding in our communities.
The country director of Zakat Foundation, the organization that donated the items, has called on like-minded entities to extend support to victims in order to augment government efforts.
Today is the day we have actually brought some items to support families which have been affected. I think it's for the Greater Accra region as a whole. And from here, they will continue to support other municipalities and districts.
Some beneficiaries who spoke to the media expressed gratitude for the support.
Bishop or downside, what I can see now. I call me boutique, me the nyama box basic form. But my name says no, a baban sana, as I say, nyama. It's yes, rabbi, and say, Gotano, on share, now one year will be my. Nsuo to na eyiri kakra pe esese ye nyama yenso ye wan yenso ye nya ye kakra kakra
me hwere me fridge me machines nso kakra na mo de ama me no me ni so me ni je ho pa me do mo ase pa.
The affected persons, comprising children, middle-aged adults, and the elderly, benefited from the donation, which is intended to support and cushion them as they navigate and recover from their losses.
Let's have some business news now.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In business, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has insisted that despite the government's 2 cedis reduction in the price per litre of diesel, the union will proceed with a fare increase. According to the country's largest private transport operator, the reduction has only returned fuel prices to the level they were at when the union served a signal to implement a 30% fare adjustment. Therefore, nothing significant has changed. The union further noted that aside from fuel prices, other components of the operational cost, including spare parts, servicing and repairs, as well as daily sales, has all gone up. As a result, a fare increase is necessary to break even. Here's the Deputy Public Relations Officer, Samuel Amwa.
We earlier, proposed 30% increment on the transport fare. We were asked to suspend it based on the promise the government gave us that they are going to, work on the petroleum product to make sure that it will come down. But then the diesel price was 16 cedis thereabout approaching, 17 cedis thereabout approaching 18 cedis. Then the petrol was also approaching 15 cedis. So that was when we were expecting that in the next price window, it may come down or it will come down. That was our expectation. Unfortunately, on our side, this price window, we have seen that the diesel has gone as far as 19 to 20 Ghana cedis a litre. Petrol is also, up to 15 to 16 cedis a litre. Then government has come in to, reduce the diesel by 2 cedis. It means that it is coming back to where it was before we were asked to hold on. So this thing itself cannot, change our decision of, increasing the transport fare because the burden is still there. Supposing it was around the 16 to 17 and government decides to reduce it by 2 cedis, for that one, I think it will help. But for where it is now and for the government to reduce by 2 cedis, it will not have any significant effect on us.
Paul Ofori is the head of research at the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, and he joins us for a conversation. Paul, first of all, what is the economic cost of this particular intervention?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and to viewers. Yes, you recall that when the intervention was done in the month of April and then May, the government spent not less than 500 million, to cover the cost of its intervention. What that simply means is that when we are also doing 2 cedis per litre for diesel for the entire month of August, we should be spending not less than 400 million cedis again to augment, whatever challenges that consumers may be going through. That alone is a drain on the economy. That alone signifies that if government had not been fiscally prudent, we would have been throwing our economy off the gear. So this is something in future, perhaps consumers are going to be asked to pay if we are not careful. I am informed that because it is a budgetary constraint on the government, the burden has therefore been shifted to the NPA to cop up in order to be able to settle this debt within the downstream. So it's going to be a huge burden within the books of the NPA going into the future. And I'm pretty sure if we are not careful, this debt may be passed on to consumers, perhaps when a new government comes in.
Okay, fair enough. You previously mentioned that government's decision to refine crude oil locally is laudable. Do you still stand by that decision or that statement?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited that despite the refinery coming on stream, government, again, by way of its policy, has agreed to cede part of its crude from the Jubilee fields to be given to these local refineries to refine. If the current decision by management of Tor to expand their capacity from the 45,000 barrels per day to say 100,000, and then Centio also is able to move from the 50,000 to 100,000. Believe you me, locally we should be able to meet the demand and even export them to our neighboring countries. That will, in the long run, reduce the pressure on CD and again a little bit of comfort for consumers at the pump as well.
Paul, before you go, finally, how sustainable do you think government intervention will be going forward?
Believe you me, the 2 cities intervention is not sustainable. That is the word. It is never sustainable. We need to find long-term solutions to cushioning consumers. And that, for me, is not the 1 month, 2 weeks intervention that we are doing. That will not suffice. In the long run, we need to look at a program that is quite sustainable. And we at COPEC have been pushing for what is called a reserve program. If government takes a look at that angle, where price on the international market or even locally is quite favorable, we should be able to store some of these products so that when we have prices escalating like we are currently experiencing, government can then be releasing them in bits to the market just to cushion consumers at least until normalcy returns to the global market.
Okay.
If we are not looking at that tangent, and we continue to be cushioning consumers with 34 pesos and 2 cities, believe me, it is not sustainable. The other option also is to look at how best we can assist and even capitalize the core and then the other private refineries to be able to deliver on their mandate, expand their infrastructure. New CDU is in place, the desulfurizing units. If we are able to give them these necessary infrastructure to be able to refine to their full capacity, I think that we should be self-reliant and not depend on the international market, so that whatever challenges that goes on there, we will be self-sufficient because we have our local refineries to fall on.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Paul Ofori. He's the head of research at the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, bringing us up to speed on issues on fuel prices. That ends business. We'll be back with sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Well, and it's time for sports. My name is Felix Dazi. Well, Morocco's Interior Ministry has confirmed that 11 people died while attempting to cross into Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta Host Week. Well, last week, authorities say they have been drowned while one person died after falling from a Turkey area. The figure is above Spanish estimate as several people have been escalated. On the 2026 Commonwealth Games and for Team Ghana, the campaign ended with just 2 medals for a nation blessed immense sporting talent. The outcome is another painful reminder that Ghana continues to underachieve. EIB Sports Benjamin Daniel Yamwa critically assesses the performance.
The Commonwealth Games are over. For Team Ghana, the final tally is just 2 medals. Yes, 2. On paper, another disappointing campaign, but the real story is not the medal table and where Ghana lied or got on the table. The real story is a system that continues to ask for world-class results without making world-class investments in the sport. Our athletes did not fail Ghana. Ghana failed these athletes the other way around. Now, every 4 years, we expect miracles. We expect athletes to stand shoulder to shoulder with competitors who have spent years training in modern facilities, supported by sports scientists, nutritionists, psychologists, and well-funded federations. Yet many of our own athletes prepare under difficult conditions with limited resources, delayed funding, and rushed training programs. Then we ask why the medals don't come the way of the country as Ghana. The answer should no longer surprise any one of us. Now, elite sports is not built on passion alone. Nope. It is built on planning. It is built on investment. It is built on consistency. Unfortunately, those are the very ingredients missing from Ghana's sporting ecosystem. The conversation cannot continue to revolve around football while every other sporting discipline fights for survival. Across the country are gifted boxers, athletes, swimmers, wrestlers, power athletes, and other sports whose ability but by opportunity. Talent has never been Ghana's problem, and you and I know it. Leadership has been the problem. Preparations has been the problem. Investment has been a key problem. And until those realities change, disappointments will remain our most consistent performance at major international competitions or events. This is not about blaming our athletes. It's about demanding accountability from those entrusted with developing Ghanaian sports. Governments will come and go. Administrators will come, be elected and replaced. But unless long-term athlete development plan becomes a national priority rather than the afterthought, the cycle will continue like it's been going on for so many years. Promises before competitions, excuses after the competitions are held, then silence until the next games come around. Glasgow Commonwealth Games must become more than another statistic in Ghana's sporting history. It must become the moment we stop applauding participation and start demanding preparation for our athletes, because medals are never won at the games. They are won years before the opening ceremony even comes up. And until Ghana understands this simple truth, you and I will continue to celebrate isolated successes like we saw in our 2 medals at these games, while wondering why sustained excellence remains beyond Ghana's reach. We must do better, and it must start from now. For EIB Sports, Benjamin Bengazi Yamwa.
All right, and that's it for sports today. As my colleague right here at the EIB Network, Benjamin Yamwa, speaks about the Commonwealth Games. Well, we have more for you at 1 p.m. right here on GHOne TV on the game. Well, I hand over to Awisi as she continues.
Thank you so much, Felix, for bringing us sports. But to a very interesting part of the bulletin, social e-commerce company Ignite is set to launch its operation in sub-Saharan Africa, with Ghana among its first markets. The company says it aims to expand access to wellness products, digital education, and entrepreneurship through an affiliate-based business model that enables individuals to earn commissions from product sales. Now, the interesting part is that the launch event, scheduled for August 7th in Accra will also unveil EIB's network CEO Nathan Kwabena Edisi, popularly known as Bolare, as a member of Ignite's Global Advisory Board and strategic partner for the Sub-Saharan African region. According to the company, the initiative is intended to promote economic participation and digital opportunities while supporting entrepreneurship across the continent. Well, we have a representative in the studio right now, and we are joined by the working upline of Ignite, Pathman. He's in the studio to bring us up to speed on the details of this particular program. Pathman, good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on GHOne, Dede. All
Yes.
right. Sorry for my dressing. I just landed from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, after a 15-hour flight. All right, and met my brother and our partner and member of our advisory board, the one and only Bolare. And we are very excited after making, I think, the best decision Ignite has made to choose Ghana, all right, as our strategic location of our African expansion. As you know, today, e-commerce, everyone is looking at e-commerce.
Right.
Everyone is looking at AI, Dede. And what we wanted to do is to provide a platform, all right, for everyone in Africa, all right, regardless of age or background, to be able to benefit from our products and, more importantly, participate and start their journey as a direct selling e-commerce entrepreneur. The world is changing.
Clearly.
AI is changing, all right, and everything is evolving so fast. And I believe after traveling around the world for so many years, 30 over years in this business, I realized only one thing: Africa is the future. All right?
Interesting.
And thanks to Bolare, all right, and our partnership and welcoming him to the advisory board, we have chosen Ghana not only as our base of Ignite in Africa, but today I've decided that Ghana will also be the home for Ignite in Africa.
Let's talk about Ignite in details. How different of a model is Ignite from the existing, traditional selling side?
Okay, firstly, Ignite is completely e-commerce based. All right, we realize that globalization is the future. So we allow our brand affiliates to start their business wherever they are located, but we give them access immediately to the whole world. So they could have partners and customers in Europe immediately from Ghana or America, all right, or Asia. So we operate fully on a globalized e-commerce platform, all right, and we wanted to bring products that are relevant in today's time. So our digital e-learning platform is completely driven by AI,
Okay.
all right, in almost every language you could think about. So we have the most advanced digital e-learning AI-driven platform, and wellness is the talk of town, okay? But traditional wellness, traditional supplements has already passed. So today we are looking at energy-based wellness. So we are the first and going to be the largest energy-based wellness product-based company. And today, after shaking hands with my brother Bolare, we are also in the stage of planning, all right, to bring timepieces, watches, okay, but to be assembled in Ghana. So we will be the first social enterprise organization to bring our products, not only import into Ghana, but to get entrepreneurs in Ghana to participate and assemble and manufacture our products proudly in Ghana.
Let's talk about how the ordinary Ghanaian will benefit from your entry in the market. A practical example, somebody listening to us, how will this, if the person intends to get on board, how will this affect them? How will they benefit?
I'm going to go a little bit emotional, okay? So I hope GHOne, okay, will be the platform for me to share my vision. I believe every common man and every common woman, regardless whether they are in the beautiful continent of Africa or where I come from, Asia, I think we all have dreams. We all want a better life. We want a better financial standing. And we want to improve the family life, the condition of how we live, and every aspect of our life. And I call it dreams. Even you, Dede. All right, coming in GHOne and speaking here as an anchor at the news channel was a dream you had. And you made it into a reality. But the common man and common woman don't have that many opportunities. Life is not that easy. So the goal of Ignite is to provide an accessible entrepreneurship platform for the common man and common woman with the uncommon dream.
Okay.
All right, accessible, and we support, we train, we educate, all right, anyone who wants to pursue their journey in this area of social enterprise and direct sales.
And this will be launched on 7th August, right?
7th August, we proudly launch Ignite in Ghana, all right, Ignite Africa, and from here, we plan to not only build Africa, but we want to take Africa to the world. That's also the vision. From Ghana to Africa, from Africa to every other country in the world. That's the vision.
Okay. Before we go, do you have any final words?
My final words is just to say thank you. Thank you to the beautiful country of Ghana. All right, today when I landed in your beautiful airport and stepped out, and I've been here before, but I always felt like either a tourist or a business visitor. But today, for some reason, I had that feeling inside, and I was just telling my family back home in Malaysia that when I landed here in Ghana, it truly felt like I'm coming home.
Indeed,
all right?
indeed.
So Ghana is my home, and Ghana will be the home for Ignite.
Do you have any Ghanaian favorite food yet?
Not yet, but today I was given a name. Today I was given a name. So I was born on a specific day.
Okay.
And my brother Bolare just announced my name in Ghana. So officially from today, all right, when I land in Ghana, my name will be Kwabena.
Kwabena, okay.
Kwabena will be my name. Kwabena Senati Raja will be my name.
All right, thank you. Thank you
Dede.
so much.
Thank you so much
for
having
making
me.
time
Thank you,
to
GHOne.
speak with us. That was Patman. He joined. He is the working upline, a representative of Ignite. Let's have some international news now. On the international front, more than 150 migrants have been rescued after the boat they were using to cross the channel caught fire on Tuesday morning. French authorities have said the boat was attempting to cross to the UK when its engine caught fire, according to the French Maritime Channel and North Sea. Okay, and that brings us to the end of Newsroom here on GH1 Television. When we are Awisi, Dede, Jangi, have a wonderful afternoon.